Welcome back to the channel. This week, I've been testing the 2025 Subaru WRX TS. So for those of you that don't know, TS stands for Tuned by STI. So for my fans out there that are really big fans of the WRX STI and you wish there was one back, well, you're not getting it. You're getting this, and it's the closest you're gonna get. So what does it actually add? What does TS actually do? Well, the way I understand it, the way I've been explaining it all week is that, well, it adds suspension damping. So there's a bit of a reworked suspension here. It also adds some steering stiffness and stuff like that. So you have a bunch of different drive modes this year that will actually change as you go through them, and it does affect the driving performance pretty significantly. Other than that, we also do have some bigger rims as well. They're exclusive to the TS and they look very, very good. And we have a Brembo brake setup, adding more stopping power, making the WRX more trackable, which is always good news. In terms of actual straight line performance or engine performance, nothing has changed there, unfortunately. Would have liked to see STI get their hands on the engine, but unfortunately not for 2025. It's the exact same across the board here. So it's decent, but I feel like, you know, I think everybody feels this way in that, you know, I wish the Tuned by STI had an actual engine tuned by STI, but we don't have that this year. But still, it is still a very fun vehicle. There's some interior changes as well. There's some nice stuff going on in there. We've of course got the TS badges and the STI logos in certain spots to kind of give you or allow you to dream that maybe one day we will get a full-blown STI. But for now, we have the TS. So I'm going to show you everything about it. I'm going to show you the interior, the exterior, of course a POV drive. Before we get into it, if you see that hype button, please click it for me. It does so much and allows me to get really cool cars like this and go even crazier with the YouTube stuff. If you don't see it, a like does that just as well. I don't want your money, I just want your likes. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a 2.4 liter turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine producing 271 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Like I said, no special horsepower numbers or torque number increases for our special edition WRX, but I guess it's all right if this is as close as we're going to get to a full-blown STI version. It also comes with a 6-speed manual transmission, and you get Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which absolutely eats the winter. All right, so next up, we're going to take a look at the exterior for our WRX TS. Let's start off with the front end. So you can see you have the really nice daytime running LEDs, the classic kind of Subaru look that you're used to seeing in this newer generation of the WRX lineup. I think it looks really good. I actually don't mind it at all, this front end. I know a lot of people are not going to like it because of this right here. See this plastic all on the bottom? A lot of people are going to have that issue with it. It's not paint matched, whatever. Personally though, this is my thoughts, right? So if I'm using this for the winter, which I am, I want it to be something plastic, something that, you know, can maybe take a bang or two without absolutely splitting. Obviously carbon fiber would look incredible down here, or something paint matched. But still, if I'm planning to use this heavily in the winter, I'm okay with it being a little plasticky. That's just my 2 cents, so let me know what you think. We also have the WRX badge right there. There's not really any sensors in the front, but there are sensors in the front end, I guess you could say. From right there, you could see there is the eyesight sensors. We do have this really nice hood vent, looks really cool. And the whole car is actually purple, or I think it's midnight purple or something. It's a weird name, and you know, it sort of looks purple here, but it looks more like a dark blue, maybe like a really, like, I don't know, like a gray. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm colorblind. It's one of these paint jobs, which makes me feel like I'm a little bit off. But yeah, it still looks pretty good. Onto the side profile though, you can see you've got the exclusive rims for the TS. You've also got the gold Brembo brakes, or bronze, I guess more bronze. The Brembo brakes here, very, very nice. I think it's 6-piston in the front, 2-piston setup in the rear. Looks really good. Again, you got this nice plastic thing. I call it nice. I don't hate it. You know what? It's grown on me. I like this little vent here. It's actually real. Nothing crazy on the mirror. You do get a turn signal LED. No sunroof, but that is to be expected from a more track-oriented version of the WRX, a more sporty version, so that's fine too. Looks pretty good at the side profile. You can kind of see it does look a little more purple, but it's a very, very dark purple It's kind of like and like as you shift over here, you can see it kind of change, and we come onto the back. Love the tail lights. I think I actually really do enjoy the back of the WRX probably the most. It looks really, really good. Got the quad exhaust there. Not a crazy noise from it, but it's got some throat to it, which I do like. A little bit lower though, we do have a bit of a diffuser there. It looks pretty cool. You have your Subaru blacked out badge with the symmetrical all-wheel drive, as well as the WRX TS badge right there, and like a little spoiler, a little rear wing there. Not too bad. Let's check out the trunk. It's not an automatic tailgate, but that's no problem because you have a ton of room in here. You can fold the seats down. You have a bunch of space. It's got a good entryway. I could fit my daughter's stroller in here, no problem. If I was to have more than one child, though, it might be an issue. But so far, as a family, pretty usable. So that's gonna about do it for my thoughts on the exterior of the WRX. There's still plenty left to go over. Let's start off checking out the backseat. All right, as usual, first up is the rear for the WRX TS here. You can see right away when we pop the door open, you can see all the blue accents mixed with this nice Alcantara and this little bit of carbon fiber right here. Very, very nice, easy to get in, easy entry, easy exit. You can see my car seat fits perfectly well back there. No WRX logo for the back seat, but still quite a nice and soft back seat, which I do tend to enjoy. But let's actually hop in and I'll show you around a little bit. Easy to hop in, like I said. Close the door here. No problem. The first thing that stands out to me anyways is these heated rear seats. So you got 2 levels of heated rear seating. You've got a USB-C port as well as a USB-C-A port. No vents or anything back here, but the cabin is small enough that I do feel like the air is going to reach us no problem. And of course, we've got these nice floor mats as well. We've got some speakers back here, no problem. Then we also have a cup holder compartment right here that will fold right down so you can have your cup holders, whatever, or just a little armrest, or you do have that third middle seat. But that's it for the back seat. Let's hop up front. So next up is the business end, the front seat for the Subaru WRX. Again, you'll see the blue accents here as well. All of our door controls, standard stuff. The carbon fiber is here as well. I really love this blue in here. It looks really, really good. You can see I've got my power adjustable seat, so you can only adjust, you know, the front and back, and obviously the height, and then you can adjust the lumbar support like that. But these bolsters are set in stone. There's nothing here that's going to come out, no bubble, nothing. It is just straight up with these really nice Reccaro seats. They do hug you very well. They do hold you very well, but they are quite stiff and quite rough on the back a little bit. But you do have this really nice embroidered WRX TS badge. Same thing with the passenger seat, although the passenger seat is not power automated. It is manual only. So hopping in, you really do sink into this bucket right here, showing you the passenger seat. So this is like quite a big lip here. I don't know how well it shows on camera, but you really do sink into this seat, which I do tend to enjoy. And like I said, it's giving me a nice big back hug with these nice big bolsterings. So let's start off first with the steering wheel. It is a nice D-cut steering wheel with a carbon fiber cutout right here, and as well as the WRX badge right there. The blue stitching all throughout. The one thing I will say about it though is there is no heated steering wheel. I don't think there's a heated steering wheel available across all the trims of the WRX, which is something interesting because it's built for the winter, or at least to me it is anyways. It could withstand winter. It's got the heated seats, but no heated steering. It's missing like the one thing that I really use in the winter, which is heated steering, and it comes in handy all the time. If you've never experienced 40 or minus 40 degree weather or Celsius weather, you have no idea what I'm talking about. It is brutal to not have heated steering sometimes. Anyways, you do have some physical buttons for the cruise control. Despite this being a manual vehicle, you do have cruise control here, a little bit of cruise control aided by the eyesight system. This star button is going to put me right into my individual mode, which you can see is configured like this. And you can also just toggle through the modes, which will also give you a nice little display here of what does what exactly. And you do have a Sport Plus mode, which is really fun. Next, we have our digital gauge cluster, and I have a couple of different things that I can do with the steering wheel. So I can change in, if you see the bottom left there, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see a little bit there. It's got the boost gauge, but you could also have the Apple CarPlay, the street you're on, the trip information, fuel economy stuff, and you can also just completely make it disappear, which is cool. But I like this little boost gauge. It looks really good. But you also do have different themes. So if I hold this middle button right down here, you'll see what happens. It'll actually switch over to a map theme. If I hold it again, this is the eyesight theme. So if you're in like cruise control or whatever, then that will turn itself on. But from here, that's the way that this looks. And it actually looks pretty good. I don't don't have any hate for it. It was analog the last time I drove it, but this is actually very cool. It looks very cool. And you've got the little STI badge right there. So, and you also have it here on the start stop button. So there's STI inspiration, right? But there isn't necessarily STI performance in here. But overall, very happy with the steering wheel. You've got your traction control off button, your trunk button, as well as your illumination controls. Dead pedal is metal, so is the 3 pedals for the manual transmission, of course, but all the pedals are metal, which I do really like, very much stands out. Infotainment display is I believe it's called the Subaru Starlink. It is interesting. It can receive over-the-air software updates, which is good. It is a little bit on the slow side, slower than I'd like it to be, but it has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, only wireless. So if you like using a wire, yes, we have an aux cable, a USB-C, and a USB-A. So no matter what cable you're using, you're covered right here, but it doesn't actually do anything except for charge your phone or your device, whatever it is. We do have built-in navigation, different things like that. You can kind of control different parts of the vehicle. You can change your individual mode settings from here as well if you want. These are the ones that I've got, like I said. You can change a little bit of things about the car. You kind of have like quick access stuff up here, like little shortcuts to see what's going on. But I like this kind of like little performance one where you can see how much fuel economy, the angle, and the acceleration, how much you're pressing the pedal. It won't do that actually when I'm idling here, but no worries. HVAC controls are down here. That's where you're going to find them. You do not have much physical buttons, so you can see there's some on the left and right for the quick access control. Dual zone automatic climate control is standard stuff. Heated steering or heated seat button is here. Heated steering, again, is not available. But so far, this has worked decently well to the point where it's like, I don't enjoy using it, but I also don't hate it because, well, it just works. There's no wireless charging pad, despite this being a perfect spot for it. No worries, though. You do have every port kind of covered here. And then, of course, you have your manual transmission. You have, the gears are very well laid out here. It doesn't light up at night, but honestly, it doesn't need to because it will show you the gear right down there, which for beginners is actually quite helpful. Rear lockout is there as well, so you got to pull this up and then slide and go over and down to the right, and that will engage reverse. And actually, I want to show you what that looks like because check this out. That's bad. That's not good. Look at that. That's very low quality. I think I've had flip phones when I was in high school back in like 2009, we'll say, because I'm not that old, that look better than that. That's crazy. That shouldn't be the case. And it also should be 360 at this point in 2025 at this price point, and it's a TS. There's a whole bunch of reasons why that shouldn't be like it is, and it just is, and Subaru needs to do something about it because that's no good. I love this blue accent here. Very nice. I love the blue stitching. Manual parking brake. We love to see it. We don't see it very much anymore, although I do bang my elbow on it quite a bit when I'm trying to navigate this touchscreen here. This manual and this not being like analog at all doesn't mix very well because you end up bumping into it. Anyways, I really do like this Alcantara trim here with the blue stitching throughout. It looks really, really good. I really love what they've done with the interior, and I do like the look of the Reccaro seats. Maybe not so much the comfort. I think after an hour or so, I'm about done in this thing, so it is more meant for just the racing and the short trips for me, but still looks really, really good. They've really done a great job at designing this interior. I really do like it. No sunroof, but honestly, I don't really care about that, especially since the summer is pretty much over and we're in, like you can see here, we're in the fall weather. So let's take it for a drive in the fall weather. Let me strap the GoPro to my forehead. Let's get on the road. All right, on the road now, 2025 Subaru WRX TS. I'm currently in my individual mode, so let's switch it over into Sport Plus here. Let's give it a little bit of rips right away. Why not? Oh, so I'm not the best manual driver in the world, and the Subaru WRX will kind of expose that. It will definitely highlight that fact. Because, it is a little jerky and it is a traditional manual transmission. By that, I mean that, it will make you pay for mistakes. If you don't downshift properly, if you don't upshift properly, you will feel the jerk. It will not kind of, adjust the revs accordingly, which is really good because it kind of, if you are a beginner manual driver, you will learn how to drive a manual the right way. You'll learn good habits just by learning off this vehicle. But if you're somebody that wants to be more relaxed and not necessarily worry about all that, well then maybe it's not going to be so enjoyable. But for me, for this week, it's been pretty easy to adjust to. Sometimes I nail the shifts, sometimes I don't. And I'm kind of learning. I think it's improving my manual driving overall. I don't necessarily think this is the best for beginners. It's definitely not the easiest for beginners, but it is good in terms of teaching a beginner, like, you know, the good day one habits kind of thing. Let me put it back into my individual mode here because I'm getting bounced around like crazy. Because it does have like a comfort suspension mode, which does kind of help. Otherwise, you know, it is a little bit of a bouncy one. Handling is pretty good, pretty dialed in basically almost all the modes. Even in comfort mode, I still feel like I've got really, really good control over the vehicle. All-wheel drive, of course. I believe all WRXs are all-wheel drive. Some people may not know that, so it's worth mentioning that, yeah, it's all-wheel drive across the board. And so this thing in the winter is going to be elite. And it's one of these vehicles that you can drive all year round. And I have a feeling this would be an absolute riot in the winter. This would be so much fun to just rip around, you know, handbrake turn in the snow kind of thing. You know, just a fun vehicle. And you can enjoy it in the summer just as much because it's got quite a bit of speed behind it as well. Now, visibility is also very good, no problem. I can see everything. At nighttime, these headlights are very, very impressive, very bright, and they go out really far without them being high beam. So, like, it's very, very good. The eyesight stuff is here. Despite it being a manual car, it does have, you know, quite a bit of assist in it, like cruise control and stuff like that. So it is quite interesting. Not something that I used at all. Because I just feel like, well, I buy a manual car because I want to drive it, not because I want to let the computer do it all for me. So I am in control the whole time, and I like going through the gears and downshifting on the highway to overtake people. Like, there's all that fun in it. So that's kind of what I've been doing with it, but it still does have those assists should you find yourself on like a really long road trip. And, you know, eventually the left foot will get tired, especially if it's not a foot you use all the time, right? So on a long road trip, maybe you want to give yourself a rest. You're not interested in doing all the sporty stuff. It is really cool to see that it does have some form of cruise control here. And I feel like the WRX is also one of these cars where it's like, you know, I don't think I'm going to drive it on the track. I feel like more like a dirt road rally kind of thing. I feel like that's where the sweet spot is. But like just on a back road on a nice day like today, you know, driving a manual transmission is just a nice thing. And I don't have to be breaking the speed limit. I don't have to be, you know, absolutely ripping it to get some enjoyment. I still think this is a very enjoyable vehicle without being, you know, without breaking the law. And I think that's very important as well. And the ride quality isn't that terrible. I can fit my daughter in here too. I've got, you know, tons of back seat room, tons of trunk room. I just love the usability of it all. And then on top of it, it is fun to drive. Although I will say the seating position is a little high. Like, I'd like to be lower. I don't feel like I need to be this high with the Reccaro seats, especially like when I get into what feels like a race car or like what should be sort of like a race car. I feel like I'm sitting too high up in this vehicle. So that's one thing with the WRX. I wish these Reccaro seats were like bolted lower, so that way I could actually just be lower in the vehicle. I feel like it would be a lot more comfortable and a lot more racy feeling, if that makes sense. Fuel economy has not been great, I don't think. Let's actually see if I can check that on the fly here. It is, well, it tells me live, not really overall. Oh, there we go. The average is 10.1. So, meh, that's not great, not good. Well, it's actually decent for what I've been doing. If I'm being honest, it's not too bad. I've actually seen way worse from manual transmission vehicles that I've driven. And also, like, I've been driving in Sport Plus mode on and off. I've been ripping it around town on and off. Like, you know, I've been having fun with this vehicle. So I think you'll probably see better numbers than I will in the long term, like ownership kind of thing. So yeah, there's this taxi was just tailgating me right now, and just in second gear we blew him away. So there you go. So it definitely has enough horsepower to you've got the advantage over most just general traffic, right? If you meet another sports car, well, maybe you'll be in trouble. But yeah, Subaru WRX definitely has it all. It's got the, you know, it's got the comfort, it's got the room, it's got the space. These Reccaro seats though are not the most comfortable in the world, I will say that. It's after about an hour of driving in them, I'm done. They look okay to me. To some people, they don't look that great, but to me, they look very good. They look very nice and premium, but they are not the most comfortable in the world. They are like slabs in the back, but they do give you a nice back hug. So there is that there. You know, it's like you have some level of comfort, but it's definitely not the greatest in the world. I would love to launch this thing, but there's a speed bump like right in front of it, so I don't want to absolutely jump the WRX. But you know what? It's one of the few vehicles that I've driven this year that if I was to do that, it would absolutely take it. It would fly over the speed bump with joy. I know it would. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to leave it there. That's almost everything I wanted to show you, or basically everything I wanted to show you with the TS version of the WRX. You know, I wish we had a true, genuine STI version with more horsepower, a louder exhaust, and all that stuff, but if this is as close we can get, this is still pretty good, and this is still very, very fun to drive around town, just in general. I have enjoyed my week with it. I enjoyed my week with it last time. The TS has made some improvements to the gauge cluster and different things like that, so I do like the direction it's heading, but give us a full STI version. Just let them get it. Let them rework the suspension. Let them do everything. Like, completely make a new WRX with them in mind. And I think I think it'll sell well. I don't know. I feel like the WRX is popular enough that if you made a crazy STI version, everyone would buy it. But let me know what you think. I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the new WRX TS, the special edition? How do you feel about the color, the spec, the interior? I want to hear all your thoughts. And if you happen to own one, I want to hear your horror story or your success story. Tell me everything in the comments, because it could potentially help another owner make that ever increasingly buying decision. So if you like what you see here, make sure you leave a hype. I think that's like a new YouTube feature or something where you could like hype a video now. And so if you see that button, please do press it for me. It does a lot more than I can explain in one video. But yeah, if you don't see it, a like will do just fine. That also does quite a bit for me. With that being said, I'll see you next week. See you in the next car. Take care.